My best friend never ate, never slept, and every single night she disappeared. For 3 months, I told myself there was a logical explanation. But the night I finally followed her, nothing could have prepared me for what I found. Stay with me, because this story will change the way you see the people walking right beside you. Okay, so my name is Chisom, 23 years old, youth corper, living in a tiny one-room apartment in Surulere, Lagos. And my best friend, Adaeze, she was perfect. Like, uncomfortably perfect. Now, here's the thing about Adaeze. She never ate. Not really. We'd sit down for dinner, jollof rice, fried plantain, the works. And she would laugh with me. She would talk with me. But she never actually swallowed. Not one bite. I said to myself, maybe she's on a diet. She never got tired. We're talking Lagos heat, the kind of sun that makes your skull feel like it's boiling from the inside. We'd walk kilometers together, and Adaeze would arrive looking fresh. No sweat, no exhaustion, nothing. I said maybe she's just really fit. But at night, she was gone. Every single night, by 11 p.m., her side of the room, cold. Her bed, empty. And by 6 a.m., she'd be back, smiling like nothing happened, smelling faintly of something I couldn't name, something like wet earth and oranges. I told myself she had a boyfriend. I was telling myself a lot of things. But listen, it was my mother who cracked everything open. She came down from Enugu to visit. Big handbag, sharp eyes. The woman misses nothing. She sits in our room. She looks at Adaeze for exactly 4 seconds. Then she looks at me, and something shifts in her face. The moment Adaeze steps out, Mama grabs my wrist hard and says, "Chisom, Mama, that girl, when last did you see her shadow?" I opened my mouth. I closed it. Because I realized in 3 months of living together, I had never once looked for Adaeze's shadow. Mama picked up her bag and she said 7 words. 7 words that rearranged my entire life. My daughter, the dead also wear faces. That night, I didn't sleep. I lay in my bed, rosary in one hand, flash torch in the other. Because I am a modern Nigerian woman and I believe in Jesus and in flashlights. 11:15 p.m., Adaeze arises, silently, too silently, like she's made of smoke. She opens the door, no creak, nothing, and she melts into the dark. I count to 20, then I follow her. She walks 4 streets, 5, 6, past closed shops, past a church playing vigil music, past a mechanic yard that smells like engine oil and broken dreams, until she reaches it, the uncompleted building at the end of Adaeze Street, the one everyone calls the Forgotten House. Everything in me said, "Chisom, go home. Lock your door, call your mother, eat your eba in peace." But I was 23 and foolish, and I stepped inside. There were 12 of them, sitting in a circle on bare concrete. No candles, and yet the room was lit from a light that seemed to come from their skin. And Adaeze was among them. But she wasn't performing rituals, she wasn't chanting, she was crying, quietly, hands over her face, shaking. Now, I am many things. Brave is not always one of them. But I stepped forward and I said loudly, "Adaeze, what is going on?" Every head turned, and Adaeze looked up And her face was the saddest thing I have ever seen. She whispered, "Chisom, you were not supposed to come here." And then an old woman in the circle spoke, ancient, wrapped in white. "The living one followed love. Let her hear." And here's what Adaeze told me. 3 years ago, she was exactly like me. A corper, a girl with big dreams and a small suitcase. She was hit by a bus on that same street, and she died, just like that, gone at 21. But she refused to leave because her 13-year-old sister back in the village had nobody. No mother, no father, only Adaeze. So she stayed between the living and the gone, gathering every naira she could, invisible work the living never see, sending it home month after month, year after year, waiting until her sister could stand on her own feet. Those 12 people in the circle, same story. Every single one of them, tethered to this world by love too heavy to release. Not demons, not monsters, just people who loved too much to let go. I sat down on that cold concrete floor, right there in the middle of all of them, and I looked at Adaeze and I said, "Tell me about your sister. What's her name?" She blinked and she whispered, "Machi. She wants to study medicine." And I said, "Then let me help. I'm still here. I can do what you can't." That was 8 months ago. Today, Machi is in her first year at University of Nigeria in Nsukka, medicine and surgery, full scholarship. I filled the application, I submitted every form. I sat on video call with her through the entire interview. With money Adaeze had gathered, coin by coin, across 3 invisible years. The morning after the admission letter arrived, I wake up. Adaeze's bed is made perfectly, the way only she could make it. And on the pillow, 1 piece of paper, 3 words: "She will fly." And just like that, she was gone. I cried for a week, but it was the good kind of crying, the kind your chest has been holding for too long. My mother called that evening. She always knows. She said, "Chisom, did the matter settle?" I said, "Yes, Mama, it's settled." She was quiet for a moment. Then she said, "When love is the reason someone cannot rest, it is not death holding them. It is grace." I don't know what you believe, your faith, your logic, your tradition. But I know this. There are people walking right beside you right now, carrying love so heavy it bends the laws of everything. See them. Help them if you can. Because sometimes the greatest miracle isn't the one that falls from the sky. Sometimes it's the one that walks in the dark with a flash torch and just enough foolishness to follow love all the way to the end.